Francis here from TYT Sports, happy to be on Real Galacticos as we're going to discuss some tactical analysis for Real Madrid ahead of the first El Clasico of the season. Excited for this game, excited to talk with you guys, so let's talk some tactics. So if you take a look here, this is a predicted starting lineup for Real Madrid. We have been given reports that there's some moving pieces in there. Sergio Ramos might be a doubt. I'm going to stick him in there for the moment. It could be a natural switch of putting Varane in there with Pepe. I'm going to tell you why I'd play Varane over Pepe if Ramos is fit either way. Danilo, Marcelo, Casemiro in the middle, Modric, Kroos, and then the front three of Bale, Ronaldo and James. Very similar to the lineup that they set up against Sevilla at that unfortunate loss. So I'm going to touch on a few things from a Real Madrid standpoint and highlight a couple of players who are going to have, I would say, the hardest tasks in the world in this game. So up until the game against Sevilla, Real Madrid have been so sound defensively, and they still are sound defensively, trust me. They're not unbeaten in 22 games at home for no reason. Rafa Benitez's record against Barcelona historically is pretty impressive. He's won 7, he's drawn 1 and lost 3. That's not a bad record at all from a managerial standpoint. So he'll be going in here with the mental thinking that he has the ability tactically to understand what Barcelona's biggest threats are. Now, I want to highlight a couple of things about Barcelona. This game is so intriguing because both of these teams, from a defensive weakness standpoint, have a very similar problem. So it really comes down to how Real Madrid tighten up their defensive weakness, which was shown against Sevilla, and then use that as a means to attack Barcelona and exploit that exact same defensive weakness. This is why it's the most interesting game, I think, in the world, because both teams are very similar in the way they attack. So this is what I think the lineup should be, but as I mentioned, you could easily switch in Ramos out, for Pepe, but this is what I want to talk about. So the first man I'm going to talk about is this man right here, Casemiro. I think that, or how you want to say it, Casemiro, however you want to pronounce it, I think he's been the defensive midfielder that could potentially fill the void that Xabi Alonso left. We know Xabi Alonso filled that void that Claude Makelele left. So a defensive midfielder is essential, especially when you have people like Kroos and Modric, who are naturally better going forward. Modric and Kroos do have and have adapted the defensive part of their game. But Casemiro this season, specifically in this game, is going to have his work cut out for him. So naturally, I'm going to talk about Barcelona without Messi. Barcelona without Messi lines up very similar to this. Suarez will take forward, Neymar will come naturally out wide, and Munir, who I imagine will play wide right, will come over here and try and stretch the Real Madrid back line. Because when you play Messi, what happens is he'll often take up this role in the middle, and he'll often draw out someone like Casemiro to pick up him, which leaves this gap in here where Suarez and Neymar can therefore grow and thrive in that area and cause a lot of problems. But when they play someone like Munir, although he will tuck in and make these runs in behind, he's naturally going to be Marcelo's problem, I think. So what this will do is this frees up Casemiro. Now, watching the game against Sevilla, there was a clear problem. When you play someone like James going forward or Isco, whoever it will be in the wide right, it leaves Danilo isolated in these areas. And Sevilla threw forward their fullback as a way of distracting Danilo and overlapping. And this is why Sevilla, of their 3 goals, began their attack through Real Madrid's right-hand side. It is not just a coincidence. Sevilla obviously had a game plan, and they executed it. And it just so happens that Barcelona's best player at the moment is going to attack that same side. So this is why what I'm stating is naturally Real Madrid and Barcelona like to throw forward their fullback. So what this will mean is this will cause a problem. If they push forward someone like Danilo, then he'll go forward. It should be a natural horseshoe movement. I talk about this quite a lot, where if Danilo goes forward, they're on the attack. What should happen is the centre-back should come over, so should then Ramos or Varane or Pepe, whoever it will be, and then Marcelo will come across. And therefore, they should have a stable 3-at-the-back formation that should be able to counteract Barcelona's attacking threat. But Barcelona, as they exploited Villarreal, they're so easy to... Neymar and Suarez so naturally are gifted together that 2-on-3 still isn't enough for me. So going forward, I think that Casemiro needs to take up a more conceded role in this game. That if they do happen to push forward with Danilo, Casemiro needs to take up this position in here and come naturally over the right-hand side and cover this area in case there's a direct pass from the defensive line, which they will try and do. Barcelona are a lot more direct without Messi on the field. They give it straight to Neymar's feet and Suarez's feet and allow them space to go forward. Casemiro needs to make sure to understand that if Danilo pushes forward, even though he would like to support the attack, if the ball is transitioned, he needs to make this run in here and cover this space so that therefore, if someone like Varane, who I would rather play because he's quicker than Pepe, if Ramos is fit, I'd play Varane in there because Neymar attack so direct, he's so fast that they need to double up on him. So naturally, I don't want to sacrifice the fullback going forward because Barcelona at the back, which I will touch on in a minute, suffer the same problems. So Casemiro needs to understand that in this game, as much as he is good going forward, he has a wicked free kick on him, he can spread those passes. As soon as that ball's transitioned, if he's up in this area, he needs to be making this exact run. Cover in this area, I want to see him around here. If Danilo pushes forward, and therefore they have this stability in here, this triangle that can work well together. And I think that in doing that, they can somewhat neutralise Neymar going forward. But from an attacking standpoint, the reason this is so crucial is this. Going forward, Barcelona haven't shown that much, I would say, leeway for their opponents. They haven't given up a lot of goals. I know, looking back to games against Celta Vigo, they definitely slipped up. But the last time they were defeated was by Sevilla. And Sevilla, exactly the same game plan they did against Real Madrid, worked against Barcelona. That's why they do it. They attack the wide areas and look to switch the ball quickly for a weak side attack. Now, it so happens that Barcelona, if so, their weakness, especially against Sevilla, came down their left-hand side. Now, I think Jordi Alba, whether he plays or not, is a good defender, but sometimes lacks in concentration in there. So the reason why Casemiro is so essential to this game is that if he is able to cover and allow Danilo to push forward, James Rodriguez naturally will cut inside onto that left foot. And if you push Danilo forward, he's going to be a distraction. He's going to distract Jordi Alba. And if it's Matteo who's in there, like against Sevilla, he's not the quickest. So therefore, he may be left isolated if you take away his balance, which is his left back. Therefore, giving you the chance to maybe have James Rodriguez take the ball in this area where he is deadly and cut into his left foot. Gareth Bale can then push forward and take the back line back. And if so, they go wide. And then what naturally happens as a team, similar to what I just mentioned about Real Madrid, is Barcelona will naturally tuck over, but because they're so attacking, you don't often see Manir get back in time or whoever's playing that wide area. That's where Cristiano can strike. That weak side switch, that quick switch of play, whether the ball goes into someone like Modric in here, it's naturally a ball into feet, into James, and then Danilo can continue his run, get it in the wide areas, and it's a quick switch into the back post. Ronaldo has got a phenomenal goal-scoring record against Barcelona. When you get the ball switched to him directly, he's great in the air, has scored goals in the air against Barcelona. Up against Dani Alves, it's a mismatch in height. You get the ball switched in naturally to the back, and I think that Real Madrid can definitely cause some problems in there. Now, trust me, I'm going to be bold, I'm going to be honest. Neymar and Suarez are on a different level at the moment, so this will come down to whether Casemiro can cover that gap or whether or not they're comfortable having a 3-on-2 situation, which Villarreal were, but then were paid the ultimate price by conceding a goal because Neymar and Suarez on that same page. So I think if they do their best to cover that area and look to attack in the wide areas as well against Barcelona, they could definitely have a great chance of winning this game against Barcelona. So those are my tactical analysis, my tactical predictions. Let me know in the comment section below whether you agree or disagree. Let me know your thoughts on the game. Come over to TYT Sports. We'll be having a full recap here as well as some other fun things around El Clasico. Thanks again.